What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Thursday. It's Lore Games.
Lore.
Flint and Ramel are al dente today. I guess Ramel is al dente.
They're al dente.
Al dente. Someone's al dente. Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm great. Never better.
Never better.
It's every week is a week down. Loving it.
This is true. To the end of your life, or just till the end of your working life, or both.
That too, yeah.
It's like
We are 9 days from the big wedding. We are single-digit days away from the big wedding, and technically, due to my vacation time, I'm only 9 business days, working days left of work.
Wow, really?
Yep.
That's awesome. MK, what's up, MK? MK says, yeah, Drew, almost there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm making it. A little bit at a time.
And then, so you basically, you get out of work and then you take a day off and you start your graphic novel?
No, my last day of work is the 26th. And I'm literally going to go into the office, do some quick QAing of some dashboards, and then I'm going to turn in my computer and then leave early, probably by noon or sooner. Then the next 2 days I work at the store, and then that Monday, my wife and I are on a cruise till the following Saturday.
Oh.
Till that Saturday, I should say.
MK says, hero.
Yep, I am so looking forward. One of the very first things I'm going to do, this desk over here is where I do my work, my job. That entire thing is going to get cleared off. I'm going to start building a new PVC rack to go over it, where I can have different cameras set up. That'll become my drawing work area. And I'm looking forward to all the things I'm going to do from this point on. I actually already know the first thing I'm going to do. Part of one of the promotions I'm going to do with Hero Book 1 when I reprint it is give a free sketch to everybody who buys a copy of the book. So I'm setting out a goal of doing 50 to 100 sketches of Hero to go into the books, to go with the books. And that's mostly to get me drawing the damn character again. I haven't drawn him in so long, but I'm going to set out a goal of 50 to 100, sketches.
Why don't you give him a signed copy of that?
Oh.
Can you ink that? Can we get that one inked up, drawn up?
I'm pretty sure I got a really thick marker, a thick Sharpie around here I could sign that one with.
I'll tell you what, though. I will say this in regards to Andrew, is that like when he sits down to start working on a book, he's actually pretty consistent. Like
Awesome.
Andrew, you do a really good job of like once you actually sit down to do it. Once you get on a schedule, you're pretty good about doing it.
Well, I have a mental way of doing it. Every time it was with Hero. I started it with Hero. What I did is every time I started on a new whatever it was I was working on, I would set a small number of pages as like a story goal, and I would like issue 1. It was pages 1 through 6. Pages 5 and 6 were a double page splash. So my goal was to get through those 6 pages. Then I could take a stop, and then I could set out the next set of pages. But I would do a certain number of and it wasn't a whole book or it wasn't a whole chapter. It was a certain set number of pages, and I worked on those until they were done. And sometimes it's a little bit easier that way. It's the tism hitting me.
Yeah. MK says, that's awesome. Just keep us posted. Really looking forward to following along. Going to use your existing channel or a fresh new one?
It's OnlyFans.
It'll be Misfit Corner Comics is where I'll start posting everything again. That I haven't put anything on there since like the end of December. So I'm going to start posting again there regularly. So
good, man.
Besides the scam channel, Misfit Corner Comics will start to get busy, as they say in the industry.
Is that what they say in the what?
Is that what they say?
What industry might that be?
Oh shoot! I just realized. Remember that video I was telling you guys about that I was getting ready to post for tomorrow? It's only 1 minute and 38 seconds long. It's a really small video.
No.
I wonder if I should come up with something else.
Andrew's been really upset because the Indians aren't calling him today.
No. Yesterday they were quiet. Today I only got like 2 calls today. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was some type of Indian holiday over the last couple of days. Like Ramadan just ended. Like
How many?
yesterday.
If they stopped calling you and just never called you again, how many calls do you have on file that you could reference for like in the can?
Well, I have hundreds and hundreds of recordings. One of my plan for what I told my wife was my plan for when they actually do stop calling me is, and I need to start working on it sooner rather than later, is to shift into that really easy not fake, but easy animation, and doing that and adding the recordings I already have done with the animation. So it's kind of like bringing back the videos, but with a new twist. So even though I've used them before, if I'm presenting them in a different way,
I think that's smart.
I actually have an idea. It was actually another idea for a graphic novel, which I may be making into an animated thing, and it'd be Misfit Corner Scams, the animated series.
So kind of like the Jerky Boys from back in the day.
I've never seen the Jerky Boys. I have no idea I don't get the reference.
Jerky Boys is funny, man.
Classic.
It was kind of what you do, but a little more proactive.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not proactive at all. Oh my God, my daughter is right. Smiling does hurt. She told me she's been practicing smiling because after the wedding, she has to take a whole bunch of pictures, and you got to smile for all your pictures. She's been practicing smiling. I just smiled. Oh my God, my face hurt.
That's called exercise. Facial exercise.
Oh, you know what else I bought recently? I bought a brand new pair of walking tennis shoes. Got some new Skechers, and so when my retirement happens, my plan is to walk every day.
Good.
And yeah, I've got brand new shoes in order to do it.
I'm so proud of you, Andrew. We're getting up. We're walking. We're trying to smile.
We're smiling. We're drawing. We're gonna draw. We're gonna walk. We're gonna do all the things I don't currently do.
Walking to the fridge doesn't count, Andrew.
Yeah, I know.
Neither does walking to the car.
I walk through Walmart.
Well, that might count. In Florida, they're fucking huge. Do like 3 laps around Walmart. The perimeter of a Walmart.
Oh, you'll walk a couple of miles.
And that's what I mean. It's huge. Awesome. So we got a bunch of good stuff tonight. We could do a little bit of a mix. I have a little bit of a cold. I'm hanging in there. I'm okay. But we have a couple things we could do. The first is last week we talked about moving in and doing a little more like one-page campaigns where you could take a character, focus a small mini campaign on that character, and create a story environment for that character. And we can go through the list. I mean, we have a bunch of characters, and I think it'd be great. I think it's like creating, it's almost like creating an entire comic series without having to draw it because you have so many options. And just in case no one knows what we're talking about, I'm just going to share this. Give me 1 second here. So this is an example of a one-page campaign. They're called one-page campaigns. This one actually has 4 pages, but it's basically, it just means it's a simple campaign. Basically, this is this was a series from the 2400 series. This one was called Junior Hybrid Battle Cryptids, which of course is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles derivative. But if I zoom in and you look at sort of the setup, you can see like they call you urban legends. So there's sort of the clarion call, I guess, sort of the scenario. And then another one might be they call it Battle Moon, a domed arena on a lawless rock where captives fight robots, beasts, professional gladiators, or even their own friends, all for the amusement of the hyper rich.
Sweet. I can
Use
already
Battle
hear
Moon as
Tina
a
Turner.
what's that?
I was hearing Tina Turner from Mad Max.
Totally,
song.
100%. Use Battle Moon as a single episode scenario for captive combatants or would-be rescuers, or as a tutorial and rules reference to help run and play out fight scenes in an RPG without hit points. So you can there's a million of them. I got a whole bunch of these. But basically you can see for the battle cryptids, you've got your situations. These are basically like issues, what might be happening, some random, you just roll a d20 and you can get some different like combinations. Friends or foes, here's a bunch of characters. Meanwhile, something else that's going on, right? Like a curveball. And then just some basic rules. You have basic rules, really simple rolling of the die. And then you have some basic character stuff, some character generation, like you can be a careful cyborg. And when you battle, you are a Lucador, right? You're also a cryptid, so you're actually a hedgehog, right? So there's a little character generator for this for this specific one. And other ones you don't necessarily need it because we might be able to generate some. And then there's some options in there. So we could. I think it would be great. I think this is a great way to start expanding the adult fantasy universe without us having to write novels. We have a great novel. The novels are awesome. We have some really good graphic novel ideas. I just want to be. I just don't want to stack up too many good things that we have like this massive backlog. We're working on a comic right now with WAGMI Games, which is great. It'll be done soonish. Everyone seems happy with it, which is good. But I think this gives us an opportunity to be productive, to kind of create something on a regular basis that's fun and not so like overwhelming. So this is something that we can kind of sink our teeth into. That sound like something you guys want to do, or do we want to do like a nerd den on Thursday, or both? We could split it, whatever.
We can do whatever is clever, man. You're the captain.
I know. Dusty, what do you think? Should we do some of this real quick?
Yeah, I think we should work on the one shot because we do have Nerd Den tomorrow.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
I have one quick announcement.
Ooh.
Oh, go for it.
I'm going to Dubai, baby.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like a last minute thing. I'm heading out Saturday.
What's in Dubai?
Token 2049 conference.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was about to make a very, very tasteless joke, but then I realized we're live and I don't want to get.
That's the perfect place for it.
Good job.
That's what we do here.
All right.
thinking.
So yachts, supermodels, and things best done in the dark and never spoken of again.
That's true.
Okay.
Fat chicks.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, really.
And we'll see.
Awesome. All right. So you guys have to bear with me as I blow my nose and stuff. So I'll be right back.
Blow your schnoz.
I have a suggestion for a storyline that's also topical.
Okay.
So wait till Todd comes back.
All right. Is it about what we just talked about before the show?
I don't know what we're talking about.
The newly dead.
Yes,
Celebrity
actually,
murderer?
it's about newly dead celebrity murders. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's talk about it. Let me share
Yeah,
my big old screen here.
the juice has finally run dry.
All right.
So
go ahead, go for it, Andrew.
So one of the ideas is to come up with a storyline or a topic, and then to throw out different ideas. Well, what if in our Hyper Brooklyn there was the trial of the century, in which a very famous superhero is on trial for murdering his ex-wife and her lover, who is an alien from another planet. And
Mm.
a lot of people are thinking that he did it because he was jealous because she was shacking up with an alien. You know, and then there's other people that think there's all different conspiracy theories on what happened and who did it. And we could make a game involving something similar to that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with
Call
that.
it.
And that's
Call
one
it.
idea. And then I had the other idea last week about the eclipse coming over Hyper Brooklyn, and the effects that a full, is it called a full eclipse? What is it when it
Total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah, total eclipse. There you go.
Total eclipse of the
I
heart.
knew there was a reason we kept Doc around.
Why can't we we could roll these two things together, actually. It could have been a ritual murder for all you know.
Yeah.
An eclipse murder. Sounds like a Gumshoe detective story. Is this a Gumshoe detective story?
Could be.
I guess
heard-
it needed a group.
One of the shows I was watching today was talking about how there's a conspiracy theory regarding the OJ trial, that one of the people that they never looked into or they never focused on was his adult son, who had problems with drugs and at that time had been arrested for abuse or something. And they were talking about all these different things that people have thrown out, including the fact that the hat, or one of the hats that was found at the scene, had dog hair on it, and OJ didn't own a dog, but his son did. And there's actually pictures of him wearing the hat, the son wearing the hat with his dog on his couch. And it was like, people are coming up with all these different conspiracy theories regarding the fact that maybe OJ was taking the blame or taking the hit for his son, who did this heinous act. But nobody will ever know for sure, you know?
Yeah, but if that were the case, you don't write a book called "If I Did It."
Well, you would if you were trying to make money and had no other source of money.
I guess so.
He was offered money by that publisher, even though the family of what's his name took it all.
Ron Goldman.
Yeah, Ron Goldman's family got it all in the civil suit.
If I did it.
That's what it's called. I did it.
Yeah, I know. I remember. One of the dumbest book titles of all time. Like, this is why I'm innocent, because if I really was going to kill her, this is how I would have done it.
Right. But it's like the ultimate projection, you know? It's just like, you know, it's like writing a book called Who Farted.
You're right. It really is. So dumb, man.
I didn't touch that 18-year-old girl, but if I had, this is what I would have done.
Yeah. Really silly people, man.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So what other ideas you got? Guys, I threw out 2 of them. They were good, too.
Well, I mean, maybe we could do a variation on that. You know, and so instead of like so like basically, you know, how about we base it on, like, so there's a big arrest in Hyper Brooklyn. Again, it's like it's a superhero who was like who was like a really big once upon a time, but he's kind of like, you know, fallen off his peak since then. And even when he was like really big, there are a lot of people whispering in the superhero community that he was just kind of like, you know, he basically built, you know, his brand or empire on the efforts of like people who are more talented and more powerful. But what he had was, and like his real superpower was actually marketing himself. And at the height of his fame, there was an incident where he and his then, you know, main superhero girlfriend got into a public battle where a bunch of innocent people were killed or badly injured. and he persuaded one of his proteges to take the fall. And the protege went off to superhero prison, and the big guy was supposed to take care of him, but he basically just like washed his hands of him. Well, the protege has now escaped from superhero prison, and he wants revenge. And we can say he either wants revenge or he's blackmailing, like the Mr. Big to do something, give him money, publicly admit that he's actually a fraud, or he'll expose him or murder him or both. And the ex-girlfriend has since moved on and is now married to another like more prominent superhero, and the last thing she wants is to let this thing blow up again, because she's like because she's on the verge of like a big time stadium tour. She's like a superhero who's also like a singer or like a performer. And the last thing she wants is for this thing to be dragged up again, so we can say that she's the one who hires the superheroes to do something about this. And yes, I am totally basing this on Puffy or P Diddy or whatever he's calling himself nowadays. I guess that would be not guilty. That'll be his new handle, I guess. What are you calling yourself? Not guilty. Sorry, I know it's not very creative, but I'm a little
good.
What if our version of like O.J. Simpson was also our version of like someone like P Diddy or like Phil Spector or something like that. Kind of like all mashed together, all the really bad dude, all the really scandalous people from the 90s.
Well, I think that with these one shots, it's less about like defining the full story arc, and I feel like it's more about just like having a setting where it's like, okay, this, here's the setting. You're in Hyper Brooklyn. It's a world. It's this futuristic, multi-dimensional world full of aliens, weird species people, and interspecies bustling city, right? There's the woman who's dead, the very famous alien actress that's dead. You are part of a super crime fighting detective team, right? What will your mystery unravel? And then you start putting all these kind of like what ifs, this, that, the others, so we're not really like designing a story. We're just throwing out a bunch of random stuff to let people tell their own.
All right.
I mean, that's how, right? I mean, is that kind of the feeling, Todd, with
100%.
We just need like a very short, concise, like place, description, event.
Right. You might like if you were gonna do the greatest superhero in the universe is on trial for a murder he may or may not have committed. Your job, your job could either be, you could even roll for the job. Like your job is to assassinate him. Your job is to rescue him, right? That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we set up basically we basically just create a table full of opportunity. So it's like a contact needs, a contact. This is a character needs to check on a friend. You encounter a cult who will offer to trade or fire a warning shot or whatever. Like you can come up with as many and as detailed as you want. These are very, very simple ones on this one. And so what I'm doing is like kind of what I'm doing is looking at these right now and kind of coming up with the best stack of options, and then we can kind of throw options in there for supporting characters. Like if we're trying to break this guy out, who does he encounter? Well, maybe it's everything. Maybe one of them is a security guard, right? Or maybe it's like the Sinister Six, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can start to stack, and that way when you are creating this campaign, when you're actually ready to play the game, you're rolling to generate the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of generating the game on the fly, and so that the person running the game has the story elements to kind of run you through the game. And you make the story then. Like, as you play the game, you're actually making the story.
Yeah.
Right,
This is like advanced Clue, right? It was the homie in the boudoir with the...
Yeah, and it can be as complicated as you want or as simple as you want,
yeah.
right? Like this, and is dangerously close to the, Quicksilver Isle, the Scouring Forest, right? Because this is like just a futuristic thing.
Yeah. We just kind of have
right?
to set the categories based on the blurb, but they all have a very distinct reference point, because some of them are more complex on some of the other sheets, right?
Totally.
Like some of them are more like needs and desires kind of stuff, right?
Right. This one is a ancient relic. Here's the scattered across the world. Ancient relics known as xenoliths taught countless species how to travel to the stars, unlock psychic potential, and join the galactic community. But now they hum with a strange signal from dark space, awakening untold dangers. Even in some struggle for power, the Council of Worlds has charged your crew to unify and protect us all. And so you have like crewmates, contacts, or rivals, so you can select your crewmates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mard, Grim Doctor, relaxed around one person, right? Like they have like little defining characteristics. I know they can't read that. They have like crew, contact, rivals. So this can be crew, contact, or rivals. Then you have different crises that happens inside of an adventure. Mm-hmm. People metamorph into extinct species, or space station overrun with scrap creatures. Violent electrical gravitational storms. So like you can, one of these could be the main kind of catastrophe, the crisis that you have to overcome, or it could be a series of them.
Yeah.
And then you have worlds. Here's different worlds that you could visit, and here's like some twists and complications.
Yeah. So I mean, like, let's, for example, if we were doing the superhero on trial murder thing, I think the root, the source of inspiration for these categories, if we basically said, okay, what's every single trope in a detective procedural show, NCIU, SZYTV, Las Vegas, right? Like, what's all the kind of shit that happens there? Like, they always have 5 people on their team. You got the nerdy hacker person, you got the old wise guy, you got like at least one couple that's fucking, and that, like, how do you kind of roll those elements, and then what are the weird shit that they could find in their investigations, right? If they're like the team, right? That's how I would kind of play this, right?
That's exactly right. And I think it's sort of like I think tropes is a really good way to put it. Like, if you were going to tell me the biggest superhero in the universe is on trial for crimes he may or may not have committed, my imagination is like Superman. So it'd be like, well, who are the tropes? What's the tropes of Superman? Maybe under like contacts or rivals, right? Mm-hmm. Which is sort of similar to what the Battletoads thing is.
What are the weird things you could uncover about Superman in your investigation?
Friends or foes. You might have Brainiac, right? Or you might have Lois Lane, the reporter, right? Or Jimmy Olsen. And you're not necessarily defining whether they're a friend or foe. You're leaving that up to whoever wants to play it. Maybe in this story, the Lois Lane character is actually a bad guy. Mm-hmm. She's the mainstream media, and she's whatever. Like there's so many different ways to kind of play it once you have your pieces, once you've randomly generated the pieces.
Yeah. It'd be like supporting character, and then another thing for like what's their angle, like, or what's the thing you're going to discover about them in your overall discovery, and then how does that lead to the next beat of the story? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's got to kind of be structured to be like, this guy has this motivation or does this. Here's a thing where you might find this out. I'm just trying to think how to like flow chart it out.
Well, so we've got like, this is sort of one, like, I have this from adult fantasy. We've got these are kind of bonus, but so I'll just kind of highlight those because I just saw those. So I was like, oh, that might be interesting. But you have like the contact. The PCs are contacted by a patron, right? Whoever they're acting on behalf of. Here's the reward. Here's the job if they do this. Here's the target. There's the location of the target. You encounter XYZ, right? But something goes wrong. What's the complication, right? And then there's some locations and anomalies, right? So that right there is kind of your traditional. That's kind of your traditional D&D campaign, right? Like you get the contact. Maybe the patron is a a king or something. Here's the reward based on the job, right? Here's the target, whatever the target is. Here's the location of the target. You're going to encounter. Here are the things you can encounter. And these are kind of interesting, but they're kind of bonus. Complication, but something goes wrong. Location and an anomaly. So in this one, it's situations, what might be happening, friends or foes, and meanwhile, like really simple, right? I mean, just friends or foes. There's 20 different friends or foes, right? And you've got like, and again, I really like how it's just enough. Detective Sam Ruiz gets the weird cases.
I like the Geppetto one. It's like, is he retired? Like all that little question mark just states volumes. Like, is he really?
Totally up to you, right? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, maybe he's a double agent, right? Judy Tang, sharp reporter, tired of fluff pieces, right? But they're not telling you if this is April O'Neil. They're not telling you that this is a friend versus a foe, right? That's kind of up to the person creating the story, right? And it's really up to you. If your characters go up to Judy Tang and attack her, then she could have been a friend, but now she's probably going to be a foe and writing like hit pieces on it, right? So it's really up to us as the player to kind of make the script while we play the game. So let's start really easy. So we have trial of the century, famous superhero on trial, murdering ex-wife and lover, jealous because shacking with alien, conspiracy theories, or an eclipse. Superhero
murder happened during the eclipse.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
it's the trial. So kind of going after.
And it wasn't an eclipse of the moon blocking the sun. It was an alien spaceship blocking the sun, causing the eclipse.
Or is that just one of the things that it could be that we discover?
Well, you could. I mean, you could put. I think that could be the part of the setup.
Yeah.
Like you could have like, it's the trial of the century. The greatest. So this is for Dusty. This is the trial of the century. The greatest superhero in the universe. Is being tried for the murder of his wife, an alien princess,
ex-wife,
an alien ex-wife, murdering his ex-wife, an alien princess. The galactic whatever people have shown up in force, so much so that there's a total eclipse. Their ships are creating a total eclipse of the sun, right? Like basically everybody is tuning in for this, and your job is to XYZ, right? Now we can either have the job be options, or we could flatly state your job is to save the guy, right? Or your job is to kill the guy, or your job is to prove his innocence, or your job is to prove his guilt. Like whatever it is, like we can have that be a role. Like let's create 10 or 20 different options for for what could happen in the scenario, or we could state what the object is, and then move from there. And we
Yeah.
also have ChatGPT, which is a friend.
Yeah, definitely. I think there could be like different motivations instead of saying like, the courts have assembled a team to find the truth, right?
Mhm.
A team of, private investigators, whatever, to find the truth of what happened. And then you could have a person like, oh, you're a cybernetic such and such with a bad attitude. It's like what why are you're a superhero hating such and such, right? So that we got to assign different motivations to each person so they play against each other, or have a list of different motivations for people to be investigating, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to spitball this out. Like, I like the premise though of the superhero trial and all the alien stuff. I think that's definitely doable.
So do we have that trial?
I think there could actually be like multiple, like, trial of the century. You're the defendant. You're defending him. You're prosecuting him. He's the one that did it, so you want to murder him. There's all different things you could do. But that could be part of the game.
Yeah,
Randomly picking one of those.
Let's ask ChatGPT. Well, it's just for us to
I know.
create 20 different action-packed situations. I don't know how to frame this. The players, their characters could take. For example, let's see what it comes up with. Oh, some good stuff. See, this is why it's so good. All right. Extract crucial evidence. Break into a high security space station to steal evidence that could prove the superhero's innocence or guilt. So we could actually break into the spaceship that's blocking out the sun to get evidence based on innocence or guilt, right? Guard the witness. Protect a key witness who has crucial information about the superhero's relationship with the alien princess. Sabotage the defense. Infiltrate the superhero's legal team to plant false evidence or sabotage their case from within. Interstellar chase. Pursue a suspect or witness across a galaxy who is fleeing to avoid testifying. That's like off-world. That's cool. Decrypt alien messages. Decode secret communications between the alien princess's home planet and their spies on Earth. Expose a conspiracy. Uncover a plot by a rival superhero or villain group trying to manipulate the trial's outcome. That's kind of cool. Negotiate hostage release. Deal with galactic terrorists who have taken the jurors or important officials hostage to demand the superhero's release. Silence a co-conspirator. Find and silence a co-conspirator who threatens to reveal all to the authorities. Prevent an assassination. Thwart an assassination attempt on the judge or a key legal figure in the trial. Organize a protest. Smuggle forbidden technology. Smuggle in alien technology that can prove the superhero's presence at a different location during the murder. Recover lost memories. Battle galactic mercenaries. Investigate the ex-wife's past. manipulate media coverage, escape from galactic bounty hunters, undercover in the galactic embassy, go undercover in the embassy of the alien princess's home planet to gather diplomatic secrets, deal with superpowered riots, navigate galactic politics, engage with various alien diplomats, secure an alternate verdict. The scenarios offer a mix of espionage, combat, diplomacy, and mystery. Some of those are pretty good. Not all, but some of them are pretty good. Here. Can you read that okay?
Yeah.
So small. What do you think? Is that...
Type all that in.
Here.
Get typing. Oh, don't make it easy on him.
Let's see. I'll put this.
Make some tables or something, man. Maybe you make a table in there and paste all it in there.
Yeah, we can do that later. But yeah, we'll make it pretty later. Is there anything in here that you guys like? Anything that stuck out? Anything that's stupid?
I mean, they're all fair. I mean, there's I mean, those could be like the main interactions that can set the main tone of whatever, you know. You are, how many people, first, I guess the first question you need to ask is how many people is this game set up for? 4 people, 5 people, 1 person, 2 people?
Well, I think you can. I don't think it necessarily needs to be defined. I think that's part of the one pagers. Like whoever shows up can play, right?
Right.
Although that also depends on like how. I guess if you were doing like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, you want to have kind of a limited number, but.
Right. I mean, I would say that these kind of things you wouldn't want more than tops 4 people plus. Well, I guess the GM. Do you have? Is there an active GM in these?
Yeah. Okay. So this is all rolling for the GM to have all of the information
to do the storytelling and stuff.
Right. So I mean, it's kind of co-op. So like, if I roll something as a GM and you're like, I don't want to guard the witness, that's stupid. Then we just roll again. But you're kind of creating the campaign ideas out of scratch.
Okay.
MK says. Which caused much tech to go offline, causing for little evidence offered that was tech-based, video door logs, etc.
Like the Eclipse? Yeah.
The Eclipse, yeah. Yeah, the Eclipse. Right, so if the Eclipse has damaged the tech, then that can create sort of an in for a scenario as well. Right.
So if you have, I guess the first step would be, okay, these are all good like goals, right? So you need like to have like the character, you roll the description, and then now you've got your team, and now you guys are doing boom, you roll one of these, right? And then the next step would be to build on possible scenarios of that.
Right.
So this is who might you encounter.
If you were looking at this would all fall all under the job, right? Contact, patron, reward, the job. If they extract crucial evidence, guard the witness.
Yeah.
Right. Pursue a suspect, which is interstellar chase.
Right. Okay. I think those are good to like go off of, honestly.
Cool. What I'll do is I'll put these. I'll just call this the job, just so I have.
I think some of them like give. I don't know. Those work. Yeah, those work.
And we can always edit later. Like
yeah.
You know, organize a protest sounds boring to me.
Yeah. Because the next one, because this like tells you too much of like what you should do next. When I think like in theory, they'd be like, you're going to manipulate media coverage by roll. And then you've got like a
Right.
whole bunch of other options, like weird stuff that you could potentially
Exactly.
do, right?
Like we wouldn't say exactly. It would be control the media narrative would be
Yeah,
the job,
yeah.
right? And then the GM could come up with hacking into networks, or we could have that in there.
Yeah. That would be stuff that you'd add into the next.
Right,
like,
because this
the
would be
next
giving
thing.
up the. This is like giving up the ghost. It's like
Yeah.
if I said, okay, you're gonna control the media narrative by hacking into networks or coercing journalists, then it's like you're kind of giving them the story, right?
Mhm.
You're leading them a little too
Mhm.
much,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's say, who would be the contact? Who would? Do we want to do? Well, here's a question: Do we want to do like contact? I guess the question is do we need all of this? These are all options. We don't necessarily need all of it. Like I think, the tables are really determined by the situation, right? So you got situations, what might be happening, friends or foes, and meanwhile, and that's it for the Ninja Turtles, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the Battle Moon, you've got tonight's combatants include armed with, and our combatants must also contend with, and then how might this end? Signal an opportunity, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't breach. Something was a little too explosive, and now everybody's in danger. So it's kind of giving one out. So, for these, is there anything within this list that we should cut, or is something else that we should add? Like, do we need a contact? I guess are we working a job?
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean,
yeah.
could be. Didn't one of those have? Seemed like it had like some of the options, whereas like half of them were like more like positive outcome base things. Some of them were more like it's like 10 things you could do that would be positive for the court case, 10 things you could do that would be negative, or maybe who knows, like, or crazy, chaotic, right? I'm just trying to think like, how do you like, so if it's like if you have a contact who's like, this guy's contacting you too, bum, or is it like this scenario is prompting you now to chase these guys, but why are you chasing them? Like, what's the motivation? That would be the contact again, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do some mental gymnastics.
Well, I think the contact could be a little more general since you don't know what the situation is.
Right.
Like you don't know if we're going to have job options, then you don't know like the contact could be like, a sleazy bartender who seems to be a little too knowledgeable about the situation.
Right.
Right. Like it doesn't have to be so specific, right? It can be more character based.
Yeah. I mean, I think the contact could just be like a shadowy figure contacts your organization, whatever you are. Are you mercenaries for hire? Are you like weird hyper Brooklyn private detectives /
So maybe we even exclude that. We don't include that as a rolling thing, because if it doesn't totally matter.
Yeah. That
right?
could just be the thing that kicks everything off. Is like whatever you are, your group gets contacted to bibbidi bop.
Cool. Where is about? I mean, location could be something interesting, because if we know the target is also in this section. The target is also dependent on the job, because the job here might be. It kind of tells you what the target is.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the target is the superhero's legal team. The target here is pursuing a suspect or witness.
Yeah.
Right.
But you could sabotage the defense by messing with. You said sabotage the witness. I guess that's kind of the same thing. Different things you could do.
What about locations? Where does this take place?
I think
where is the
location could be the starting point for the action, right? So you find yourself the first part of your, the first clue that sets you on the trail to do the intergalactic chase or the that, you begin here, right? That could just be any location. Could be a quick trip or like a
well, I mean, the
bodega.
location is where the target is.
Oh, that's
So
the target. Okay.
the super, like, where are we going? So, like, if it's, and I guess again, it kind of depends on the.
Yeah, it's currently wrapped into the job on some of them, so there would be a conflict if we keep the
Yeah.
jobs the way they are.
Yeah, so maybe we would just jump to. It might just be like you encounter,
Mm-hmm.
because that could be randomly generated, and a complication,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let me make colors. So you could have like a complication, an account, like whatever we encounter.
I think the job is the problem because I think we need to have a dedicated job for this story because what you encounter is going to vary based on the job and it won't make sense. So you
Sure.
encounter space aliens. Well, that makes no sense on some of these options, right? Or may not.
Yeah.
It almost feels like this is a job, prevent the assassination, and then here are all the variables that could occur within that job.
That's a good. Right, because if you were going to prevent an assassination, if that was the job, well, although, so if you look at this one, this is kind of more of a legends thing. I don't know.
Yeah, those sound like
But
pub
you've got-
names.
Yeah, but you've got like a random generator for locations, right? Like the Crystal Isles or the Dreaming Library, right? So you just kind of randomly generate your locations, and then here are your quests, which are basically what we created. Like we created quests, like prevent an assassination, organize a protest, right? Travel to scatter ashes in a sacred place, study and report back on dangerous creatures. So you have 20 different quests right here. So what we have is that job is the quest, right? So and then you have encounters. Again, the encounters don't have to be specific. Like Ezza, blue-skinned, soft-spoken merchant. Right? Encounters could be.
Well, that's your complications too, right? Could be your complications.
That's right.
Anything that makes you. Yeah.
Encounters, complications, and this is the reward, right? Treasures. Right? And you can like do a D4 to D20 depending on however you want your rarity to be. So you can do like, yeah, so I think we could do encounters like this. Again, it could be a security guard. Well, you could have a security guard anywhere in here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with like Laura Zor, your ex-wife's new husband who's pretty pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Ask GPT. Ask it to consider the 20 jobs that you gave above and give me 20 different types of encounters that could general random encounters that could relate at any level to these or something like that,
That's right. And jump in if you want to, Drew. And Zach and Avery, we're all ears. Consider the 20.
Or you can just say consider, referencing the output above. That's what I usually will say. Like if I needed to.
Yeah, my brain is fried just because I'm under the weather. can, okay, how did you frame it? Encounters that
List 20 encounters that are generic enough that they can be a starting point for any of these quests. But are not specific to any of them in general. I think you probably have to notate, like, because it'll try to be like, oh, for number 15, you could start here. Like they need to be like they could be used in any of these, I guess. Yeah. Try that.
I always like to say something like keep a focus on
Yeah.
entering combat. Bad English, but it'll get the point.
Yeah.
Space pirates, that's kind of shitty. Wildlife attacks, stowaway on the ship, crash landing. No, these are not.
No.
I need to reframe it.
Yep. Well, I guess we have to define an encounter. Those are encounters, definitely. Okay, then we reframe it as saying, so these have three things. These are like a thing, a person, it is a description, and then it has a like a trait, like eats squash or some motivation, right? How can we like give it a rule to work within? Oh, that's good. Yeah. Perfect.
Void serpent, that's cool. Enforcer drone. It went way space opera.
Yeah.
That's not bad, but
yeah. Tell it to bring it back to the planet a little bit.
Must be I don't know how to frame this. Must be like
must be suitable for what? How to describe this? A space opera with a mix of courtroom drama. No, what? Now that would say
espionage, combat, diplomacy, and mystery.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that. Andrew, what do you think? You thinking about anything? You just don't give a shit.
No, I'm just listening right now.
It's going very telepathic eel hounds. It's going very spacey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too much.
I mean, so like, yeah, I mean, maybe tell like that's a good start. I don't know how you want to prompt, but like, don't forget this is also a courtroom drama. There are like settings like a planetary. I don't know. How do you tell ChatGPT it's on the right? Like sometimes I'll tell it's on the right path, and then try to remind it of the other elements that it's supposed to be considering.
All right. Well, how about this? Let's play with this for another like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get Andrew to show us a bunch of stuff. Good. Let's see. Good start. Keep it maybe Hyper Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll recognize the word Brooklyn. And superheroes.
Yeah, superheroes, courtroom drama.
That's space.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Graffiti golems.
Rooftop chasers, subway specters. Yeah.
It's still going to like.
I think it's playing hard into like the more fantasy type characters we used as a reference,
it's
maybe
combining fantasy with courtroom, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me think about this. Well, I think let's we can work on this for about an hour. So let's
just need some. It's a good start.
It's a good start. I'm going to work on this. I'll work on this. We have a good start. I love the setup. I think we just need to work on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll have to figure out. Maybe I'll chop away at ChatGPT a little bit later on and see what we got.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Andrew. So you had some stuff, right?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I was putting some stuff in order. Bear with you. I always have a lot of fun when people bring in stuff to the store to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And this past weekend, somebody brought in a collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books.
Cool.
And no, there isn't a first print of issue number 1 in here, but there is a second print of issue number 3, which I picked up. So
cool, man.
I probably gave the guy more money than they were worth, but there's some potential in here, some graded potential books. Actually, I already have somebody who's interested in the number 3, but if you want to see some of these might bring you back to your youth, Todd. Because I know you were into turtles at the for a time, weren't you?
I was. I was very lucky in getting. I traded Fantastic Four. No, I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1, second print, the second print, and I ended up trading it for Fantastic Four number 3, with like a little tear in it. And I don't know what happened to that book. It was stolen. I think it was in the stolen batch.
That's very sad.
I know. Both of those books would be wonderful to own right now. So, do you want me to put you in solo?
Sure.
Let's see what you got.
We can take a look at some classic goodies. This is issue number 3, the second printing.
Oh wow!
With the color cover.
Cool. Look, do you notice that they actually did the same thing that those 1970s books did, where it had the corner was solid black, it doesn't go to the edge?
Oh yeah, well this one was actually a wraparound cover. Was something that they did. They did wraparound covers. So this is issue number 3. This is one of the specials. I think this is a second print. Shell of the Dragon.
That's cool.
I don't know what was special about this one, but still. This is I believe this is a first print of issue number 12.
I always forget that they hand colored all those covers.
Yeah, they did. Some of them, yeah. This is issue number 13. Issue number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Issue number 16. Well, this is actually when they started to get into having other people do the art. It wasn't them doing the art. They were writing it, but other people were doing the art.
Yeah.
So it got a little freaky for a while. Like, this is issue number 22. I remember having this one. I remember having it too. Yeah. Yep. This was around the time that the movie first came out.
Was it really?
Yes, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was getting a lot of. It was either the cartoon.
Had to be
the
the cartoon.
Movie. Maybe it was the cartoon, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was getting a lot of attention, and people were going to the store specifically to buy turtles, and these were the ones that were out during that time. This is issue number 23, which I actually have. I'm not sure why, but 2 copies.
Yeah, I might end up getting one of I used to have those. That's when I got into it.
Do you remember when Rick Veitch?
That was the fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, his issues were really good.
What issue is that, man?
24, 25, and 26.
Will you
Those
put
are
those
great.
on hold for me, man? Those 3, please.
I don't know. I'll have to look because these are ones that graded could be worth a lot of money. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll visit you in June. I won't have them graded by then.
I'm going to see you in a week.
Oh, that's right. You will. Issue 27. Issue 28, which I actually have a graded copy of this in the store already.
Yeah, I had all those.
Issue number 29, which I had this one too. Issue number 30. And 30... I think it's either this is 33. Those, this is the Richard Corbin issue.
Yes.
No. This is 34, which supposedly they got sued over this for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what. At least that's the story I've heard. And issue number 37 of the original series. And then also in this collection was a couple issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. This was the Archie series that was based on the cartoon. This is issue number 3 and issue number 10, which these were a lot of fun for kids. And then I also got...
Where did you get all these? Was it just a collector?
Just a collection that brought in, yeah.
Wow.
This is Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 3. I'm not sure if these were reprints or if these were... I'm not really sure what these actually were. But this is issue number 3, issue number 5, issue number 6, which is the first appearance of the character Leatherhead, the alligator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And issue number 7. So I got this whole collection.
That's cool. That's cool. That's fun.
That is
I may have paid the guy a little bit more than they were worth, but it was the idea is that this is all potential grading material that could be worth something even more in the future. So bunch of good books, and I look forward to looking through some of them. But I was going to tell you, I went to the store this past week, last week, and picked up 3 books that came out, all from Image Comics, Ghost Machine. It's Geiger number 1, Rook Exodus number 1, and Redcoat number 1. And this one is Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch. This one is Jeff Johns and Jason Fabik.
Yeah.
And this one, of course, is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. And honestly, this was the one that didn't really do it for me. But this is like, Geiger has been out for a while, had a run for a little while. This is like they're relaunching the title. This one of the 3 was probably the weakest, and it's supposed to be their like flagship guy, but it was really the weakest. But Rook Exodus was fantastic. Loved this one, and Redcoat was extremely interesting, and fabulous art, really good story. Believe it or not, the cover price, and these books are like thicker books. They're not 22 pages. $3.95 for each of them.
That's perfect.
This is the first time in a very long time that I went to the comic book store, spent $12 on 3 books, and was actually satisfied, actually happy when I got home and read them. It does not happen. So they're producing some really nice books. So I was very happy to pick them up. I think one of the deals that they had at the store that I went to was if you put them on your pull, you got like the first issues for free or 50% off or something. They were doing some type of promotion where if you got them on your pull, you got them for a discounted price. Me, I paid regular price because I'm not putting them on a pull or anything, but
Do you want to now? For some people who may not know Andrew, like, what is so special about this? Like, what's the big deal with these books? And it seemed you said that sounded like the same writer or some guy was named Jeff Johns was involved in all three of these.
Yes. Well, this is a new shared universe within Image Comics. So these guys decided to form a company called Ghost Machine, but instead of going out and publishing themselves and being their own publishers, they're doing it under the Image banner. But it's a shared universe where they're all in the same continuity, which is kind of interesting. And actually, what's actually really interesting here, I'll show you. In the back of each issue, they did like a little quick calendar. Not a calendar, a timeline. Gotta get my terminology correct. Where they kind of map out the different titles. Like the first one here is 1776, Redcoat becomes immortal. Then in 1864, the Northerner begins his hunt. Then in 1944, the monster is made. 1972, Junkyard Joe comes online. 1997, Widow X has her revenge. Present day is the first ghost escapes capture. Is captured on film. 6 years from now is the Unknown War erupts, and 25 years from now, Geiger walks across America. So these are a bunch of different titles that they're going to be producing, and they're all in the same universe and chronologically in this particular order. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool what they're doing. So, and they've got a bunch of other books that are coming out. Devour, First Ghost, Hornsby and Halo, Hyde Street, The Rockefellers, and The Soulless are ones that'll be coming out within the next couple of months. And they're all by different creators, but apparently they're all in the same universe in this world that that Ghost Machine is creating, and it's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. You guys want to see some really pretty covers?
Pretty.
So what happened is I got one of my regulars was looking for a particular comic, The Shadow, issue number 1 from DC, printed or published back in the 70s, the early 70s. And I was able to get a copy, a graded copy in like an 8.5. And I brought it to the store, and he was interested in it, but he really wanted a copy that he could read. So another guy came into the store and was looking for Shadow books. And I showed him the Slab book, and he's like, "Ooh, I have a copy of that." But it's like, he actually said he had 2 copies. But he really, really wanted to get a copy graded. So I said, well, listen, let me offer it to the first guy. If he passes, I'll offer it to you, but maybe we can work something out. And turns out the guy that I got the copy for wanted a reader's copy, and the guy that had a reader's copy wanted the graded copy. So I made a deal in which I sold him the graded copy in addition to one of the copies that he had, the reader copies, which I then sold to the other guy. But in the meantime, I was doing some searching on eBay, and I found a seller who had all 12 issues of this run, all 12 issues of the run, and they were wanting a pretty decent price. And I made him an offer. He countered, and I accepted it. So I got him for a really good price. And he described the condition as fine to good, or like lower condition, like reader copy condition. These freaking books are fantastic looking. Every single one is in really, really good condition. I was actually surprised that the guy listed them as reader copies when they're all beautiful. But I wanted to show them to you because most of them have like really great Michael Coluto covers. And Michael Coluto also did the interior art for like 5 or 6 issues. So just imagine this pulpy cover art on the inside as well. It's very nice. But the thing I didn't know when I was looking at getting issue number 1 for the guy who was interested is there was only 12 issues in the series. It only went for a year. And when I was able to find all of them for a low price. Now, when I did my searching, issue 1, a 9.4 ungraded copy of issue number 1, guides for around $120. I paid half that for all 12 of them.
Oh my God.
So yeah, issue 2, 3, and 4 I think are listed as $40 a piece. The others are listed between $20 and $25 a piece. But look at these great looking covers. That one actually looks like a Tim Sale almost, you know?
Wait, say it again? Yeah, it does look like a Tim Sale. I can see that.
Yeah, the face. This one looks great.
Yeah, those are awesome, man. I love those shadow covers where it's like a giant head and like some action shot.
Yep. Look at this one where he's coming out of the shadow, shooting everybody up. And there's always a chick being saved.
Right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
This is another one. This one is says Night of the Ninja.
Nice.
Ooh. This one's got like a Quasimodo character on it. This one, for some reason, has a mummy. Night of the Mummy.
That's cool. I like that one.
This one has him going up against a guy with a stick or a spear or something. Night of the Falling Death. Oh, that's actually a Joe Kubert cover.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, very nice.
You're right, man. Those books look great from here.
Check this one out.
Oh, wow.
Night
That's
of the
cool.
Killers. You got the Bonnie and Clyde looking characters right there in the middle with the shadow in the background and the dead body in the front. Nice, gorgeous Michael Kaluta. This one is Hero fights Hero when the Shadow meets the Avenger.
That's cool.
And then the last issue has the Night of the Damned. He's always working in the night. You notice that? I mean, never out in the
He's
day.
the shadow. You can't have the shadow in broad daylight.
Yeah, but you would have shadows in daylight. You'd have more shadows in the day than you would at night, don't you
But
think?
He's dark.
You can't hide in the shadow. You can create a shadow in daytime. Those are cool.
Pretty books. Yep. But yeah, got all those, and I'm very happy with those. And we'll see what happens. Oh, and I did get in another collection I bought. The guy I had shown him to you before. A bunch of they weren't creepy. They were like ghosts and ghost stories. I got 2 more of those. This is from DC Comics Ghost number 35.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, you showed this before.
No. These I just got these this week.
Maybe
I showed you similar ones from the same storyline, so from the same title, but these are new issues.
Ugh.
colors.
And then this one, and then this one is a guy running from a ghost dog.
Just goes to show you, man, you can have like average art, but if you have like good design and good colors, like holy crap.
Really great presentation and framing and so forth. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, can I ask you guys, as someone who knows like nothing about TMNT except from the cartoon and the movies? Oh, and by the way, I do think that Vanilla Ice in the second movie was highly underrated because he's never going to live that down, and that's saying something. Go Ninja, go! But so how I know the comic books because I breezed through the comic books when I was a kid. I never got into it, but I know the comic books are a lot more mature than the cartoon and movies ever were. Is that true, or is that? I mean, it was an underground comic that was definitely targeted towards an adult audience. So how much of a difference was there?
Pretty huge.
They took a lot of inspiration from some of the more popular titles at the time, including X-Men, Teen Titans and Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, Frank Miller's Daredevil was definitely an influence on them. So
Was there any connection between TMNT and the Flaming Carrot?
I think at one point they were.
There might have been a crossover.
There was a crossover, yeah. But then they also crossed over with Yosagi Yojimbo, and he became something else. So.
All right. I don't know, man. Look, I like the cartoon. I mean, I was a kid when it came out, obviously. And,
well, we were all kids back then.
Yeah, I know. But the movies. I mean, I was living in Hong Kong at the time, and I saw those movies in the theater. I saw them on video. I liked them. I like the. I like the fact that MC Hammer was on the soundtrack of the first one. But I remember though. I remember one thing I remember watching is like they're choreographing the like the big ninja Foot Clan. I mean whatever they call it, whether the Hand or the Foot Clan fight scenes. And the turtles would knock a guy down, and then like the guy would like the actor or the stunt double would lie on the ground for like 5 seconds, and he kept back up, and you keep on fighting. And I remember thinking, even then, because like they only had like 4 or 5 guys fighting them, so it might have been like they're running out of like money, so they couldn't like throw a full army at him. So, and there's so much movement that they figured, man, no one's gonna notice. But I didn't notice until it came out on video, and I watched it like a dozen times. Never saw the remake though with what's her face, Megan Fox. And,
Did I watch that?
Any good?
I feel like I did.
Yeah, both of them were fun.
They were all right. Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of an underrated actress. I mean, she's actually. I think the problem is that she got tagged as kind of like being a sex pot or a sex symbol early on. But she's like one of those actors. If you give her the right role and the right lines, she actually does shine. She has talent. It's just that the reality is that if you're a very attractive young woman, that's what people are going to focus on. And
she's hard to deal with.
I've heard that too.
All right.
Well, people with borderline personality disorder, which she has.
Yeah, it's no joy.
I don't care. I still watch that commercial she did for like I think it was like Nokia back in like when she first came out. I still watch that on the internet. I had a crush on her. Still do actually, although she's had a lot of work done and it hasn't really worked. Anyway.
Yeah, she's had a lot of work done.
Yeah. And she has toe thumbs.
Toe thumbs, that's right.
Yeah. Whatever. Hey, can I show you guys something?
Olivia Munn's way cooler.
Oh well, yeah, it's Olivia Munn. I mean,
Olivia Munn is super hot.
All right, can I show you guys something?
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
You broke my computer screen. Damn it.
Two things.
Is this the one you showed us last week? This is different. This is different.
No, this is the one I was painting while you guys were jibber jabbering.
Oh. Yeah, man, looks good, dude. I mean, God, I couldn't do it.
It's supposed to be a samurai archer.
That's what I was gonna say. Is a samurai?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I think it looks pretty damn good.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying to be as good as those guys. You go to the Games Workshop website and you see the minis there and they're like exquisite, but then you realize that they're probably spending like 6 hours at a time on one tiny little miniature.
Right.
Because it has to be photographed.
That's like the guys who do the really good Gundam models. Some of those are amazing, man.
I know.
So good.
Actually, no, I was actually at when I was at MegaCon earlier this year. Bandai had set up like this massive Gundam, display thing. And they actually had a velvet rope for it.
Oh,
and there was a line going in and people coming in and coming out, with Gundam models. and they actually had a table set up where people could actually assemble them right there on the floor.
That's cool.
And I'm actually
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go first. You go first.
Oh no! There was this YouTube channel of a builder that I would watch every now and again, and he was so talented. And the stuff that he put out was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, there's Daytona has like a really really big flea market. I think it's like one of the biggest in the world, or pretty close, at least one of the biggest in the South. It's actually Drew, the one you're in, it's actually like I think it's like almost. Maybe that one comes pretty kind of close, but it's bigger than that. There's actually a place called the Goblin's Cave there, and they sell comic books, they sell vinyl records.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little room for Warhammer, but they also sell. They also have a couple of rooms where they sell model kits, and it's the old fashioned fighter planes and tanks from like Second World War, like the old diecast mod, which you would get back in the day, but they also sell Gundam, lots of Gundam.
Are you collecting Gundam?
I wish I had the room to store them. Otherwise, I would. But no, I've got my hands full with 3D printed models. But no, remember, because in Japan, I used to when I was living in Japan as a kid, I'd buy Gundam, I'd buy Shidar, I'd buy all that stuff and paint them up. And when there's a Japanese kids back then, I think they still do. There's a real cult about it. I mean, there was actually a riot in the 80s when like these new like high quality plastic Gundam models came out, and there was people were camping out in front of the stores, and apparently they ran out, and there was like a riot broke out, for like over like toy robots. So, although kind of like the way people riot today over sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get why you'd ride over Gundam. I don't really get sneakerheads, but then again, I am very old. And I mean,
Are cool.
Look, you're talking to a guy who bought all his shoes at Payless until they went out of business. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I got 2 Gundam models. I need to. Well, I got one. I started one, and then I just don't have a good place to put them together right now. But I want to get back to it.
Funny, Netflix has like a lot of the old Gundam shows on there right now. I mean, they have like the original Gundam series, which still holds up. I mean, the animation's a little bit dated, but it's still pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of the later ones, it's.
Yeah, they're hit and miss. Iron-Blooded Orphans is really, really good. It doesn't take place in the main timeline.
Yeah, well,
they got a new one coming out. It's Netflix doing it actually, and it's CG though, and it's from the viewpoint of a Principality of Xeon mercenary or soldier or something like that. Actually, it looks shit, man.
I am waiting for Netflix to do a live action version of it, and
it's supposed to be a movie.
And they're going, but they're going to like gender and race swap like Amuro Ray, so that he's like a pink-haired lesbian or something like that.
Dude, it's anime. They're all like that already.
Yeah, but it's like what happened when they did the Cowboy Bebop live action, and there was like a big outcry over it. I mean, I just don't think that's something like it's very hard in my view for. And maybe I'm biased, but it's very hard for like Westerners to like do live action versions of anime because it doesn't translate well outside of unless when Japanese do it, it's good because it's done within the same culture. Like the Rurouni Kenshin live action versions are actually really good, but I haven't seen one note yet, mostly because I don't know anything about it, but
there is one live action Gundam movie. It's not called Gundam, but it is Gundam. I can't remember what it's called. It's terrible.
Pacific Rim?
No. It's actually like it's really bad.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of the name.
G Savior. No, wait. Yeah, G Savior. Wait, is that right? Live action television film. Yep, that's it.
Well, do you remember the old Battleship Yamato anime?
Mm-hmm.
There's a live action. There's a bunch of live action versions of that out there.
Yeah.
The thing is also I think the problem with anime is that you know, like a lot of things you can get away with in anime, you know, with like in a manga or anime, like for example, someone swinging like a sword that's 3 times its size as though it's a feather duster. It doesn't really work in live action because you can kind of like bend the bounds of believability with like, you know, cartoons or pen and paper. But when it's like live action, it's like, yeah, I mean that sword's like 3 times its size. How are they supposed to swing it?
I had that problem with the One Piece live anime at first, and then maybe the second episode, I kind of just came around to the fact of accepting like, hey, this is a live version of this, and there's like that weird uncanny valley thing kind of going on. But then once I was just like saw like they're really trying to do justice to the source material, then I got down with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
You know, I was going to ask if anybody had watched that show. I couldn't get through the first 5 minutes of the first episode.
It was really hard for me too, but I did appreciate it by the end of the series. I watched it on a flight. When I was going to Singapore. I watched I just went back to back on all of them. But yeah, by the time I was done, I liked it.
Well, what's interesting about that is that see, when that was coming out, you know, I took a trip to the Daytona Mall, like to the mall in Daytona Beach, and there's a store there. It's like one of those stores that specializes in selling like imported Japanese pop culture stuff. So you can go in there and you can buy like Japanese candy, so on and so forth. You know, and a lot of Funko Pops on the back wall because why not? But I remember they had a huge poster for the One Note live action series in the window. And the thing is that, you know, anime is. Did we lose somebody? Oh, we lost Avery. Yeah. So the thing is that, you know, anime and manga, that's where the younger readers are going. I mean, they're not reading Spider-Man anymore. They're not reading Marvel or, you know, X-Men anymore. I mean, there's a reason why there's so much money in older issues because no one's reading the new stuff, and the younger people are, well, I mean, you know, so on and so forth. And if you're an older reader, like even like me, and I'm half Japanese, a lot of you find this stuff really off-putting because it was made for Japanese audiences. So if you're an adult Westerner coming at it from the outside, it's going to seem weird to you because it's made in another cultural context that's been translated into English. But if you're a kid who's reading that, you know, who's like ideas about what's acceptable and what's believable are still kind of being formed, it's going to be easier for you to get into that because it won't seem weird to you. It'll just seem new. So I guess, you know, I would have trouble watching that show because, you know, I mean, I just, you know, my tastes have been formed by comic books and Western novels and so on and so forth. But, you know, if you're like a 14 or 15-year-old who's been reading like translated manga since he was like 8, it's just going to seem normal. You know, so like normality is something that can be molded.
Sure, yeah. I just
find it sad that, you know, American comic book publishers, they're so stuck in the past. And, you know, I mean, you don't have to copy what manga is doing. Just look at what they're doing, and you don't have to copy their style, tell those stories, but look at how they're marketing. Look at the stories they're telling. You know, you don't have to copy their art style, but they write stories that people actually want to read, and they're not trying to preach or anything. They're just trying to tell a good story, and I don't see why that's so hard for Western writers and artists to understand. I mean, it's.
But they have this very structured thing within the subgenres. You know, there's slice of life, there's this, there's that, there's, you know, 8 main archetypes of personality archetypes for female characters, for male characters. So all of that stuff is generalized across the entire medium. And then they just write stories around how these different characters behave and even are designed, you know, like if you're a whatever type archetype, then, you know, you've got like this kind of face or this type of swagger, the way, you know, like it's always very cookie cutter. Then they just write stories about that stuff, you know, around it. So it's like across the whole medium,
well, that's the thing.
There's familiarity.
they're not trying to like shoehorn the superhero genre to fit into everything. Because if you go back to like the 40s and the early 50s during the golden age, I think something like 50% of the American public was reading comic books, and that included and half their audience was female. Like everyone's talking about how they need a more diverse readership nowadays. They had that, back in the benighted conservative, 1940s. Like Jack Kirby, and Jack Kirby was he basically helped invent the romance comic. People tend to forget that.
Right.
But, and it's just sad to me now that they seem to have forgotten that. I mean, I think part of the trouble is that, American comics have been superhero focused for so long that maybe it's hard for people who are really deep inside that industry to break out of that mentality. They can't tell stories unless they involve people in colorful costumes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with recognizing that female readers are going to want different things and to give it to them. I mean, back in the 40s, they understood that. They don't seem to understand that now. Anyway, rant over.
Good points.
Yeah.
Oh, fellas. So, what is on tap for tomorrow on Nerd Den?
I probably won't be here.
You can't. Oh man, why? What's up?
I'm leaving for Dubai on Saturday.
Oh right, jeez.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh hey, Doc, just be careful. Don't make sure you don't owe anybody money over there, because they will take your passport if you if you're in debt if you're in debt there.
I don't plan on being in debt.
When you get there and you go through customs and they say oh, do you have anything to declare? Make sure that you tell them that you're Jewish.
Okay. I don't think they give a shit over there.
Oh, yeah.
They just want money.
It used to be you couldn't, if you were Jewish, you were not allowed in Dubai.
Oh, in Dubai? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's still the case, but
no, probably not. Too much money flowing through there.
If you do me a favor, if you get a chance, go to the Burj Khalifa. I mean, I've always wanted to see that.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go.
I think if you can get to the top, take a photo. Because
there's no way I'm doing all work while I'm there.
No,
it's impossible.
Yeah, and I just know that I don't know you have to make sure you know the rules, because I know you're not allowed to be drunk in public or something. Or something. Yeah. You got to be very careful. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Best
don't
behavior.
End up in a fucking Saudi prison, Doc. Please.
Make sure you check the bottom of your shoes for weed before you go.
Although if you do, that would make an epic one shot that we could play here while you're stuck over there.
What's my motivation? Bread and water.
Bread and water.
Oh, actually, I got some photos. I got a few photos to show you guys tomorrow of a massive battle that took place in my house.
All right.
Between a whole bunch of toy soldiers.
Okay.
Yes, like I said, war gamers are the nerds other nerds are ashamed of.
No, it's a cool thing, man.
Actually,
I'd love to talk about how a war game actually works.
Yeah. I'll walk you through it.
Sure, I'd love to. Maybe that's perfect for tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that there are different systems, and the historical wargaming space is actually really splintered, basically between people who hate Games Workshop, anything it touches, and those who just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
The former, but one of the downsides I have with it is that my cats, whenever I'm doing it, I have to lock out my cats, because they love to jump on the table and start knocking soldiers down. I don't know that maybe they think they're grasshoppers or something.
Right. Well, guys, this was a great episode. I'm gonna take some stuff for my throat. I gotta figure out what to do and get my throat back in order. But yeah, good evening. And Doc, we'll miss you on your travels. Are you gonna be on Telegram or anywhere we can talk?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll be on TG, whatever. I'll be there for All through next week. I'll be there for 9 days. The airfare wound up. It was like I was like, well, I shouldn't go for that long. So I was gonna go try to do like Wednesday through Saturday or something like that. But then I started looking, and it was the same price to go Saturday through to the next Monday. So I'm like, whatever, just do it.
Dude, take lots of photos.
I will.
Awesome,
From a
man.
yacht. Every side of it's like a yacht party, dude. There's like 60 fucking yacht parties. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I probably
you
won't
only
get
allow-
accepted to any of them.
No, all you need is you have to wear a white shirt, white pants, white shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't even know if I have swimming trunks. I ordered some just in case I couldn't find some. Yeah, but you know, it's gonna be. We'll see. It's gonna be very interesting.
if you see that guy from like who was in the Mighty Ducks who now owns half a tether, try and get a selfie with him because that would be really funny. You know,
The guy that was a meth head.
no, he was in the Mighty Ducks. You know that movie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then he went on to basically he got really big into crypto.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I just know about the one that was a meth head in the Mighty Ducks that they saved.
Uh-huh.
They found him on the street and then they saved him.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do people still use Tether, or is that kind of like fallen out of fashion?
For a stable coin, yeah, of course.
No, because I just finished reading Number Go Up, and it was it's an expose of crypto that's not very friendly to crypto, but so I just want to get the other side's opinion.
I mean, it's a stable coin, USDC, Tether. It's all the same to me. Everyone talks shit on Tether all the time. It's a whole other conversation though. But yeah, you're right. Like, do they really have the reserves? Who knows?
Yeah, I stick with USDC. Anyway, awesome conversation.
Have a good day, y'all.
Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow night, Nerd Den, same time. Doc, have a safe and happy flight. Okay.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, be safe, Doc. Catch you soon.
Yep.
Catch you
See you guys
later,
soon.
skaters.
Have a good night. Talk
Peace
to you
out.
soon.
Bye bye.
Peace out. Hold on. This is where the point where